such an immense debt. And to watch you guys like spiral yourselves into the ground for this idiot, how sad it is for us in Canada and in the United States to watch what you're doing to yourself. How much the world owes the UK in terms of, say, the establishment of common law and decent government everywhere.
Did you know that Jordan Peterson, a Canadian professor, is more concerned about the UK's future than many British politicians? His recent interview has sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving many wondering about the true state of their country. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. But why should you care what a foreigner thinks about Britain? As it turns out, Peterson's outsider perspective might be exactly what the UK needs right now. Prepare to have your assumptions challenged and your patriotism put to the test.
The Liberals had the party and I get the hangover. And it's like, yeah, well, he'll get the hangover all right, get blamed for it all, and throw some spine again and put your damn country back together and stand up to these bloody psychopathic bullies.
Jordan Peterson's perspective on the UK's current state carries a unique weight that many British citizens might overlook. As an outsider, he sees what those immersed in daily life have become desensitized to: a nation grappling with the erosion of its foundational values. Britain, once a beacon of civilization through its contributions to common law and democratic institutions, now finds itself at a crossroads. The tension lies in the stark contrast between the UK's historical achievements and its present leadership's apparent inability to safeguard these hard-won victories. Peterson's emotional response during the interview wasn't just a moment of weakness. It was a raw, unfiltered reaction to witnessing the decline of a once great nation. His tears spoke volumes about the gravity of the situation.
The most likely outcome is this is all going to be dumped on Pierre Poilievre, and he's going to have to take the hit for it. What did he say? I interviewed him last week. And the woke green mob, because it would be a dreadful shame to lose you.
Cutting through the noise of political rhetoric to reveal a deeper truth about the UK's predicament. But what exactly has led to this state of affairs? Peterson points to the insidious creep of political correctness as a major culprit. This isn't just about being polite or inclusive, it's about a fundamental shift in how British institutions operate. The fear of causing offense has paralyzed decision-making processes, leading to shocking instances of institutional failure. Take, for example, the case Peterson highlighted: the mass rape of working-class women. This wasn't just a crime, it was a societal failing of monumental proportions. The authorities' reluctance to acknowledge and act on these crimes, seemingly out of fear of being labeled culturally insensitive, is a damning indictment of how far political correctness has gone. It's not just about hurt feelings anymore, it's about the very safety and well-being of citizens. Peterson's critique cuts to the heart of the matter. The UK is failing to confront uncomfortable truths. Instead of tackling issues head-on, there's a tendency to sweep them under the rug, hoping they'll disappear. But as Peterson emphatically states, these problems don't vanish, they fester and grow, undermining the very fabric of society.
It is this shallowness, this shallow, self-serving narcissism that characterizes so much of the elite class. It's so demoralizing. It's almost unspeakable. We all pray, hope and pray.
The consequences of this institutional paralysis are far-reaching. Public trust in leadership is eroding rapidly, with many citizens feeling betrayed by those meant to protect them. The working class, in particular, bears the brunt of this failure, feeling increasingly marginalized and ignored by a system that seems more concerned with optics than justice. This crisis of identity goes beyond just political correctness. It's about a nation losing sight of what made it great in the first place. The values of free speech, robust debate, and the courage to face difficult truths, hallmarks of British society for centuries, are being sacrificed on the altar of avoiding offence. As Britain grapples with its identity crisis, a chilling question emerges. Has the nation that once stood alone against tyranny lost its backbone?
Well, has put Canada in the doldrums that it's in, and is also responsible for the state of your country, which is dreadful, sadistically, and say nothing about it and gaslight people who are telling the truth. It's so sickening.
Jordan Peterson's analysis reveals a startling transformation that may shake your understanding of modern Britain. The country that faced down Hitler's war machine in 1940 now seems paralyzed by fear and indecision. Peterson's critique goes beyond mere nostalgia for a bygone era. He points to concrete examples where UK authorities have failed in their basic duties, betraying the very people they're meant to protect. The working class, once the backbone of British society, now finds itself abandoned and victimized. Peterson doesn't mince words, describing the mass victimization of working-class women as sadistic, a damning indictment of institutional failure. But what's truly shocking is the silence that surrounds these issues. Where once British leaders would have confronted such problems head-on, today's institutions seem paralyzed by fear.
How sad it is for us in Canada and in the United States to watch what you're doing to yourself. Weak political correctness that's gone so far that you can allow your working class women to be raped en masse.
The courage to face uncomfortable truths, once a hallmark of British character, has given way to a culture of avoidance and denial. Peterson argues that this institutional cowardice has allowed serious issues like grooming gangs to persist without adequate response or accountability. The cost of this silence is staggering. It's not just about specific incidents or crimes, it's about the erosion of national character. The UK that Peterson describes is a far cry from the nation that inspired the world with its resilience during the Blitz. Today's Britain, in his view, is a country where common sense values are sacrificed on the altar of political correctness.
And the woke green mob, because it would be a dreadful shame to lose you. Grow some spine again and put your damn country back together and stand up to these bloody psychopathic bullies.
Peterson's emotional response during the interview underscores the gravity of the situation. He's not just criticizing, he's sounding an alarm. In his view, the UK is losing its essence through weak leadership and a failure to stand up for its core values. The institutions that once embodied British strength and fairness now seem more concerned with avoiding offence than upholding justice. But Peterson's message isn't one of despair. Instead, it's a rallying cry for national renewal. He urges British citizens to rediscover their courage, to stand up against what he calls the psychopathic bullies and the woke green mob that he believes are contributing to the UK's decline.
Such an immense debt, and to watch you guys like spiral yourselves into the ground for this idiot, how much the world owes the UK in terms of, say, the establishment of common law and decent government everywhere.
It's a call to action, a plea for the British people to reclaim their heritage of bravery and common sense. Peterson's impassioned plea resonates with countless Britons who feel their nation's greatness slipping through their fingers. It's a wake-up call, a stark reminder that the UK stands at a crossroads. The choice is clear: rediscover the backbone that once defined British resilience or continue down the path of decline. But there's hope on the horizon. Countries like Poland and Hungary have shown that institutional reform and cultural renewal are possible. These nations have taken bold steps to reclaim their national identity and values in the face of external pressures. It's a testament to the power of collective will and a blueprint for what Britain could achieve. The ball is now in the court of British citizens. It's time to demand better from their institutions, to challenge the status quo, and to reignite the spirit that once made Britain a beacon of civilization. The question remains, will the British people heed this call to action?